Oh, hello. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that girl? What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? Maybe we'll do a gear video for Sylvie. So if you are not interested in gear at all, then just wait until next week. The next video is going to be tons of fun. It's all about travel, adventure, sports, all the fun stuff. In fact, when this video comes out, I will be in Banff National Park. Finger crossed, hopefully nothing happens. But there it is. So come back next week. Let's get started with the gear video. So why don't we get started? In the description box, there is a link to a list that has all the gear I'm gonna be using in 2022. If you see something that you like, click on one of the links. It helps me, helps the channel, helps me create more videos. So the fun thing about tech is that, you know, if you wait long enough, you will be rewarded. If you are impatient, you just get whatever is available then and there. You're bound to be disappointed because something new is always gonna come out. So this generation of products, we're talking this new camera, the Sony a7 IV. We're talking about the new MacBook Pro 16-inch, which are the two main items that I needed in order to get this channel back up and running. They are quantum leaps, like huge jumps forward in terms of tech and what they can do in comparison to the last generation. I personally think that it was worth the wait. I don't like wasting money on old tech. Everything's about like maximizing your dollars that because I don't have unlimited amounts of money. I need to make sure I spend the money the right way. So if you're considering buying the a7 III versus the a7 IV, or if you're considering buying the old Intel machines for the MacBook Pros versus the new M1 Pro Max machines, let me just tell you right now, you should probably just get the newer stuff, because the newer stuff is like literally 10 times faster than the older stuff. The camera has literally 10 times more things than the a7 III. It's absolutely insane. Like, let me show you. Let's talk about the computer first. So computer is the new 16-inch MacBook Pro M1 Pro Max, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive. Such a quantum leap in terms of tech. There's so many quality of life improvements in comparison to the last generation of the MacBook Pro 16-inch. For example, you have an SD card slot, which is something I use all the time. You have more ports, so you can plug in more stuff into your computer. There's a power, like a specific port just for power, which is amazing, because before you had to plug in USB-C, someone trip over the wire, your laptop would go flying across the room. That doesn't happen with the new MacBook Pros. You have the new mini LED screen, which enables HDR footage. You can edit and watch HDR footage, which, if you don't know, this specific video is also filmed in 4K HDR. And you know, the battery life on the new MacBook Pro, I could edit on this MacBook Pro and still have tons of battery life for the rest of the day, versus the old generation where you'd like start editing, you have like 3 hours of edit time on the battery, and then your battery would be dead. And the firepower, the pure horsepower of what this machine can do is absolutely insane. I'm like tossing all these things that I can throw at it, and it's doing them with no problem. So I think I'm gonna be in a pretty good position tech-wise for the next couple of years. So very stoked about all these things. So let's talk about my second big upgrade. This is the a7 IV. Now, back in 2017, when I was initially switching from Canon to Sony, I was talking to Eamon from Eamon and Beck, and he was telling me,
we got the built-in mirror here. That's why you need the ADD. Make sure you look crispy. I shoot on a GH5. The autofocus sucks.
I'm actually thinking of moving to Sony a7 III.
Horrible call as a vlogger. You're gonna hate it, dude.
Am I gonna hate it?
There's no flip out screen. How are you gonna vlog?
I actually don't even. I missed that. Fuck.
Did you miss that?
I missed that. Fuck.
I almost hit him with his Mercedes.
I'm signing off.
You can't see me.
All right, bye, buddy.
You're signing off?
Yeah, I'm signing off.
Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and smash that notification bell. We'll see you next time.
At the time, I didn't believe him. At the time, I thought, you know, I can get used to it. I never got used to it. I hated it so much. Okay, so those are the two big ticket items. Now, I have a whole list of equipment that we're going to bring with us to all these different adventures all over the world. So we're just going to go quickly through the list. It's in the description box below. We can just go line by line, and I'll just give you my thoughts on each item. So first, the a7 IV. It's a great camera. If you're looking to buy a new full-frame camera, the a7 IV is absolutely great. It's probably the camera you should go unless you want to get like extreme low light situations all the time. Then the a7 S3 is the one you should be going for. This one is a hybrid of all the best of photo and video, and I like it. I like this camera a lot. Next, vlogging lens. This is right now I'm shooting on the 1635 f4, which actually works pretty well with this camera because this camera has dual ISO. If you don't know what that means, it means that it can handle lower light significantly better than previous generation cameras. It's not as good as the S3, but it will suffice in a very low light scenario. I have thought about upgrading to the f2.8. I always thought that I should have upgraded to f2.8, but this one has image stabilization built into the lens, and it's also a lot lighter than the f2.8 G Master. So it's also half the price too. It's like literally half the price. So if you're just looking for a vlogging lens and you don't want to like risk $3,000 waving here and there, just get the f4. Next up, I have the Sony G Master 2470 f2.8. I'm not entirely convinced I actually need this lens because 99% of the time I have my vlogging lens, the 1635, on the camera. I used to use it for a lot of production work, but since we're now 100% focused on the Maiku Race to 100 Countries series, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to keep this lens. Next is the iPhone. So I right now use the iPhone 12 Pro. We also use Venus's iPhone 13 Pro. The 13 Pro has a significantly better ultra-wide camera than the 12 Pro. Like, it can do low light significantly better, but it has a lot more like sparkles. I don't know how to correctly explain that, but there's a lot more like flaring lights everywhere in the 13. Don't know why that's a thing. So I just use this for like run and gun pinch. I don't have my camera situations. And we're also going to be doing a lot of shorts, which is like all vertical videos. I'm probably just going to film it on this thing as opposed to my camera. This thing is the Joby GorillaPod. This is the OG one before they like rebranded everything. But I think this is the equivalent of the 5K, what's out in market today. These things are like $300. It's kind of ridiculous, right? But like this is standard issued vlogger because you can like reach out and do something, and it's like because it's on this like Joby Gorilla thing, it actually inherently makes the shot more steady because when your hand's holding the camera, you have like a heartbeat, so like it inherently shakes. This kind of removes that heartbeat shake. So ow, I just hit my own face with this. Oh, ow. Yeah, Joby GorillaPod, standard issue vlogger thing. If you want to go vlogging, you probably need one of these. For audio, I use the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. I've been using it for years now, and it's like absolutely great. It has an auto on feature. Audio picks up really, really well. I might switch to Sony's system because I do prefer to have like that automatic gain, which is available in Canon cameras, but not available on Sony's side, unless you buy that Sony microphone. So I don't know. They also are discontinuing because of semiconductor shortage. It might be very difficult to find. So I might just stick with what I have until this whole like pandemic shortage on semiconductor thing ends. On top of that, I also have stuck on something called a dead cat. It's just a wind filter, and it's permanently on my microphone, simply because when you're out running, gunning situations, you just want to be prepared for any type of situation. And on top of that, I think it also blocks the high frequencies in audio. It makes everything more bassy, which is something that I think I like. So yeah, dead cat is always on it. I've even taped on the back, so that way when you're doing like a boosted board segment and the wind's coming from the back of the thing, it's not picking up the wind from the back. It's actually like streamlined out. So that's what I use with my camera. As for a tripod, I use the Manfrotto Element Large Edition because I got this when I was using the ADD, the Canon ADD. It's particularly heavy. I don't usually use a tripod unless I absolutely need to. If I'm planning to do silent hiking videos in the near future, I'm probably going to upgrade to some type of like carbon fiber sticks. But in the meantime, this is what I have, and it's worked wonderfully so far, so I don't see any reason to upgrade it. Memory cards, I use Sony memory cards in my Sony camera because Sony gave me a memory card to use, and I find it's like really, really good. I used to use SanDisk cards, but the SanDisk cards are now quite, like I had the Extreme Pros and they're quite slow. And I find that these memory cards are just so much faster when you're like just transferring stuff into hard drives and things. So yeah, I just use Sony memory cards now. As for how many batteries I have for my camera, I have 3 of these Sony Z batteries. I don't use the third-party ones simply because these ones offer more battery life than the third-party ones. And ever since Sony upgraded their firmware, they can detect the first-party batteries. And the thing about this new camera is that it uses battery life faster than my older cameras. So I'm thinking that 3 batteries is probably good for a day and a half. I have this RAV powered recharging system. It's running off USB micro, I think, and it just works really, really well. They don't sell these anymore on Amazon, but there's like millions of these chargers available. It's like pretty simple stuff. And when push comes to shove and I do need like a battery really, really quickly, I also have the official Sony battery charger. This charges like I think 5 times faster than the USB charger. So if I am in a pinch and I do need battery life, I do carry this with me wherever I go. These are the Beats Solo Pros. I find like these are pretty good with like noise canceling, and with all the new Dolby Atmos stuff, this actually sounds really, really good. I don't know why people complain about Beats so much, but I certainly like them, so we'll continue using them. Next is the Apple AirPods Gen 2. I used to like these, but now that the market and headphones have gone so, there's so many different options you can pick from now, these things just fall out of my ears. So if I just do this, just this side, if I just go like that, it'll fall straight out. So I bought these ear tip things, which you put onto the AirPods that help them get stick in your ear, but I don't particularly like using these either. So I might just give this to someone that is in my immediate family, and then upgrade to the Beats Fit Pro, which has the ear tips built in, and they're meant to work out and do things with them. So it also has all the features that the AirPod Pros have. So this might not be on the list moving forward in the near future. Next is this Anker battery. This is like a 10,000 watt hour battery. This thing is great because if you need to charge it with your iPhone, if you use a USB to Lightning cable, this can charge from 0 to 80% in half an hour. So I use this quite often when I'm in a pinch, when my battery's going low or whatever. And it can recharge it, I believe, 3 times, which is really, really good. You can also use this to charge your battery, charge the battery on your camera if this is plugged into your camera with the cable. So, it's really small, it's really handy, and I like using the Anker battery lineup. So next one is the GoPro Hero 10. I use this in situations where I don't want to risk the bigger camera, and these are generally action cameras, so you can stick them basically anywhere. I stick them on the outside of cars, I stick them on the interior of cars for the car scenes. I stick these things on planes when we're in the air. The suction cup that I have with this also works really well. I also have a whole bunch of different mounts for a whole bunch of different reasons for whatever you need to get a shot of. I probably have a mount for it. So GoPro Hero 10, this is if I know that it's not as risky, I'll use the Hero 10. Let me get the other one. I also have the Hero Session. This is a Hero 4. So this is generation 10. This is generation 4. This shoots in 4K, 5K. This shoots in 5K. This shoots in 140p, but I don't really want to focus on resolution that much. The point is that you're trying to get a shot. And if it's an extreme high risk scenario, I'd rather just let this thing die as opposed to this thing die, and I'd rather let this thing die as opposed to my big camera, or my phone. So, yeah, that's the hierarchy of the cameras I have. Next up, this is the Rode Wireless Go system. I use this for situations where I'm interviewing someone and they're just in front of the camera and I'm behind the camera, or if I'm doing something really, really dangerous and I still want to pick up audio. For example, if I'm on the side of a mountain and I'm rock climbing it, and there's a person that has the camera on the ground aiming at me, he can still pick up audio with this wireless lav system, and I pair it with this lavalier mic, so that way I can have this anywhere in my body without having to worry about these things. Yeah, it's more or less what I use. I don't particularly like using this for a lot of situations, simply because I prefer having the shotgun mic, the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus on my camera. You can be more spontaneous with the shotgun mic as opposed to setting up the lav and making sure everything's working and then making sure the audio is clear. It's just so much easier to use the shotgun mic. Next up, this is the Rode Wireless Go system. I use this for situations where I'm interviewing someone and they're just in front of the camera and I'm behind the camera, or if I'm doing something really, really dangerous and I still want to pick up audio. For example, if I'm The last thing for video is this SD card memory case. You end up getting a lot of SD cards for a lot of different things, for a lot of different shoots, for a lot of different toys. I think this is waterproof, so if you like submerge this in water, everything in there should be still safe. Yeah, just SD card case. Next up, drones. So I use the DJI Mavic Mini. The reason why I use this as opposed to DJI Mavic Air is because Canada has pretty restrictive drone laws in this country. So as long as, and I believe it's written on this thing, as long as your aircraft isn't weighing more than 250 grams, then you don't have to get a pilot's license. You don't have to go to piloting school. You don't need to do all that other crazy stuff in order to fly a drone here. You can just use this guy, and it's perfectly legal to fly this. There are drone laws that you still have to are applicable. For example, you can't fly this near airports. You can't fly this in national parks or state parks or provincial parks in Canada. But outside of that, it's been pretty good with this drone. If I do plan to travel internationally, I'm probably going to leave this at home and I'm probably going to upgrade to the DJI Mavic Air S3 or whatever it's called right now. Whatever is the most recent edition of the drone. But yeah, so I have this. I have 3 batteries with this drone, and I have everything that comes with the Fly More package of this drone. It's really good. If you're looking to get this one, get the version 2 because this shoots in 2K. The new one shoots in 4K. But yeah, you should also be like a pretty expert flyer because this doesn't have any of the features like detecting objects or anything. If you fly this, it will crash into something. So you should like know how to fly a drone before you buy this. All right, so let's talk about video editing. So as I said earlier, I'm using the Apple MacBook Pro 16-inch M1 Pro Max, 32 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte hard drive. The reason why I picked 32 gigabytes of RAM is because I want this to last 10 years. And when you get to the further down the line stretch, that's when things kind of get really weird and you wish that you upgrade a little bit a higher tier RAM. On top of that, let's see what else. The 1 terabyte, because I felt like I always use external hard drives for everything. So 1 terabyte on is the standard. It's like perfectly fine for me. And the Pro Max as opposed to the Pro. The Pro apparently has better battery life, but the Pro Max has 2 times the power or 4 times the power. I don't remember. But I thought I needed the horsepower, and apparently with all the stuff that I'm doing with 4K HDR footage, apparently I do need that power. So I'm utilizing the power I need for this system, and it's working really, really great. All right, so this is the Bauer Wilkins P5 Series 2 headphones. I've been using this for the last decade or so. Normally I use this with my PlayStation 5, but I also use this to edit video when I'm at home. So I just plug this into my speaker system and it goes, and it sounds great. So I can hear like every little detail with this, and it makes things easier to edit on these things. So yeah, I'm not sure if they sell these anymore. All right, so this is more of an emergency item. So if I'm like out and about somewhere and so for whatever reason I've lost every single pair of headphones, this is always in my bag so I can edit on the go. But these are like the Bose, I guess wired headphones. I don't think they sell these anymore either. I think everything's gone wireless these days, but wired headphones will always like work no matter what situation you're in. So I keep these on me at all times. And as I was saying earlier, the wingtips are something that is definitely key for me. So this wingtip is like super, super key for me because it just stays in my ear no matter what I do. So, no, I love these things, and I just use this for emergency only. So I also have this. This is the audio to lightning port adapter that's always on this at all times, just in case I need it. You never know when you'll need one of these, especially when you're like traveling around. So yeah, this is always in my backpack. Okay, so I use this for long-term storage. So as the year goes by, I have 2 of these guys. This is the lacy, rugged USB-C. These are like mechanical hard drives. They're just really good for like just having things long-term storage. When I'm editing and stuff, I use this. This is the SanDisk 1 terabyte extreme portable SSD. These things are pretty fast. They go for like 1,000, I guess, megabytes or something per second. I find that these things are super fast. I also find that when you're trying to edit off one of these, you're gonna find a lot of pauses happening, where if I edit off one of these, it's super fast. Like, I can just do things and I don't have to encounter any problems with this. So, are you trying to get up here? Come on, come up. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, sorry. Girl, come on, get up here. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. All right, so I have 2 of these. This one is the regular one that comes from Amazon, Best Buy, or wherever you can buy a SanDisk thing. This one is from Costco. They're a different color, and I do like having them color coded, so that way I know that this one is the main drive I'm using. This is where I generally edit stuff, and this is the backup drive, just in case something happens to this guy, and like we need to have the footage somewhere. It's either going to be on this guy or it's going to be on this guy. I back up stuff all the time. So having multiple backups is extremely important, because you don't want to go to a client, you don't want to go to a sponsor and be like, oh, we're sorry, we did all this stuff and we lost all the footage, because that's never a professional thing to have done. You always need to back up your stuff. So all this stuff is here because it's just being professional. And finally, the program I'm using to edit all my videos and things is Final Cut Pro X. I got it for free when I was working at Apple, and I use it in combination with Compressor to make all these to make everything HDR videos. So yeah, that's the program I use. I've always used it. I don't like paying subscription fees for software, because I think they're just gouging for money. So I just use whatever I can. That's like, pay once, use it forever. So Final Cut Pro is one I use. It's like $400, but I'm pretty sure you can find it other places online. So, all right, so let's talk about travel gear. Travel gear is the stuff I'll bring with me on my travels everywhere. For my camera bag, I use the Lowepro Tactical AEW 450, because back in 2017, I thought matte black everything was cool, and now it's 2022, and I don't think that's a thing anymore. But I have this camera bag, and it's really good, so I'll just continue using it. Yeah, that's my reasoning right now. I might change it sometime in the near future, but for now, it's a very good camera bag. I just don't like how it's like, I'm not part of that whole matte black everything crowd anymore. That's not a thing. So, yeah, that's the camera bag I use. It has lots of pockets. It's high capacity. It's really heavy when it's fully loaded, but it works well on my back. So, well, what are you gonna do? All right, so this is the PowerCore 3 Elite 26K 60-watt battery charger. This can recharge my laptop if I needed to. This can recharge a whole bunch of stuff because it has a whole bunch of power in it. Whole bunch of power? Who says that? I've always had this fear of losing power when I'm like out and about, and I want to make sure that I have the ability to power my own things without having to rely on like external things. So this alleviates those fears. It's quite heavy for what it is, but it recharges my laptop no problem. It has 60 watts. It can recharge a whole bunch of stuff. Everything in my bag is USB-C or A rechargeable, because I also have all the cables. I try to not use any kind of AA, AAA batteries, because I feel like that's bad against the environment. Also, they're also annoying. So that's what that is coming from. Okay, so next is the suitcases I use. I have 2 suitcases, both from HERSCHEL. HERSCHEL's a Canadian company based out of Vancouver, Canada. They're pretty popular over here. Like, all my bags and all this stuff is HERSCHEL, because this stuff looks really good, and their stuff is also really easily repairable. So if one of the wheels break, like I had a Swiss suitcase back when I was doing the European journey a while back, like 3 years ago before the pandemic, and the wheels broke off, and there's no way to repair that. But with HERSCHEL stuff, you just call up HERSCHEL and be like, hey, this wheel thing broke off, can I get another one? And you can just repair it on your own. You just need a screwdriver. So yeah, I definitely like the HERSCHEL brand, and suitcases are suitcases. Like, these things are meant to be destroyed, so if you can repair them, like, it's better for the environment. Next up, this is a flashlight brand, which I use quite often. This is from Coast. It has 1,000 lumens. It's a USB rechargeable, USB-C rechargeable, actually. And it's actually a very nice headband thing, headlamp. I plan to use this on hiking adventures or our next vacation in Banff, because we're going to be doing a camper van thing. And I don't want to be caught outside without light, or having to, like, flashlight things while trying to fix something outside. No, just get one of these. So this is an emergency response walkie-talkie. I got this as opposed to a regular walkie-talkie because I don't know why I got it. It was cheap. It was like $100. But this has a flashlight. It has it has FM radio if you want to listen to broadcasts on this. It has like the emergency weather report radio station if you don't have internet where you are. In fact, Banff doesn't have internet. There's no cell phone service on the main road leading from Banff to Jasper. So I think that we're going to be using this quite a bit. The reason why I got this originally is because if we're doing photo shoots and there's no like cell phone reception, how are you going to communicate if the person's on a canoe in the middle of the lake and you need to tell them to move left or right? So this was what that was for. But because we're going to places that don't have any type of reception, then that's what this is really for. What else would like? Why would you get it? This is like $100. So the other ones were like $200. I don't know what's the difference between a $200 version of this and a $100 version of this, but so far it works so well. Next up, I have this. This is the 26-ounce Yeti Rambler. I use this for water. Water is really important. I always try to carry a water bottle with me at all times, and I also like it to have it like thermally insulated because let's say you go skiing, you want water. Obviously, if you don't have a thermally insulated bottle, then the water's gonna freeze. I've had that happen to me once. So now I just get thermally insulated bottles, and I try to refill this as many times as possible as I'm going out traveling places. The go-to place to refill this is Starbucks. If you can find a Starbucks, they'll always have filtered water available for free. So that is the travel tip of the day. Okay, this is my Herschel Weekender bag. Weekender bag is meant for like car trips. You're going out there for 2-3 days. I definitely enjoy using Weekender bags as opposed to suitcases, and comes with a whole bunch of stuff in this bag. For example, toiletry kits. This is a Herschel toiletry kit. I really like the Herschel brand apparently, but inside the toiletry kit we have this guy. This is like a Muji toiletry case thing, so you can just have everything assorted like super neat and tidy. I also have this soap kit. It's on the list. It's from Radius or something. It's good for soap, just keeping soap available. I use bar soap because I don't know why I use bar soap. And then I have this this is a dry bag kit, so it's in Sea to Summit or something. And then I use this to put my swimsuit, or I put my running shorts in here that I also use as my swim shorts because they're both quick dry. So pretty useful stuff. I always have this in my go bag. And then I have this thing. This is from Muji, but I put one from Herschel on the list. This is a packable backpack. So if you need to have more capacity storage really easily, then this like rolls out into a backpack, and this is good for like day trips or whatever. So if I don't want to carry my huge like super camera backpack and I have like very minimal I want to carry with me, I just bring this along with me instead of the camera bag, and I put the camera bag in the hotel room or in a locker or whatever. So packable backpack, super nice, super easy. This is from Muji. This was like $80 I think, but you can get one from Herschel for like $35. So super useful for travel. Next up, miscellaneous items. So I have this 11-inch iPad Pro. I got this when I was waiting for the computer and I didn't have a computer, so I still wanted to like use something. So that's that. I'm probably gonna just use this for like on the plane or when there's like a lot of downtime and we want to watch a movie and I don't want to set up the entire laptop to make a movie run. That's probably good for that. I got the Apple Watch Series 4, or I guess now they sell it as the Apple Watch Series SE. It is, I don't know, I like monitoring my fitness goals and everything on here. It gives me all notifications and things, and it's, Apple Watch. It's an Apple Watch. Finally, I've got this a little while back, but this is the Bose Micro Sound something. This has been a very good speaker because you can just like attach this onto anything and you just go. So if you want to have it in a backpack, it's just right there. You can have a wireless speaker with you. It's good for like just keep creating atmosphere when you're like out and about and like you're not bothering anybody and you can just like listen to music with your friends or whatever. So wireless speaker, I think it's just good to have like something to create atmosphere when you're out with friends and stuff. So that is a very handy dandy thing, and it's like waterproof. It's like a really, really good speaker. I might upgrade to a bigger one, but probably not in the near future. Fun fact, it's negative 30 degrees right now, and we're going to talk about our winter gear now, or just general travel gears for traveling. It's freaking cold. Sylvie, how you doing? You good? Hey Sylvie, what are you doing? Let's go, come on. Why do you keep on trying to go over there? Let's go, come on. All right, so we just walked the dog. It's negative 30 degrees outside. So why don't we talk about the travel clothing that we're bringing with us? We have a whole bunch of different stuff that we're using for our Banff trip, but I'm going to cover the summer and winter stuff. So for example, my travel coat, which is mostly always going to be my Patagonia, what's it called? The Patagonia down sweater hoodie, which is, I got it half off at a sale here in Toronto, and it has been my go-to hoodie ever since. It's perfectly warm for up to negative 15. Negative 15 is kind of like iffy. That's sketchy. Negative 10 to negative 15, I'd trade up to a larger coat, but it's pretty good in a lot of like near 0 degrees situations. Next up, the underwear I use. I like always use these 2 pairs of underwears. It's the Sax underwear line, the Quest line, which is like it has like all these holes in it, which like lets you have a cooling feature. It also has like a cup to hold everything into like the middle area, which is like really, really nice. But when I can't find them on sale, I go get the pair of thieves underwear, the cooling version of the pair of thieves underwear, because having a cool area down there is really pleasant, actually. I would never, ever go back to cheap underwear again. Next up, the best sweatpants in the world is the Uniqlo Extra Stretch sweatpants. These are like the most comfortable things that have ever been on my body. In fact, all throughout the entire pandemic, I was wearing these sweatpants, and they look really good. They are super thin, so like if you like that cooling environment around your body, it's like perfect for that. Sometimes I wear it in the middle of the winter just so that like I can feel really, really comfortable. It's like super, super nice. Same thing with the shorts. The best shorts in the world for travel is the Uniqlo Extra Stretch shorts. It's made out of like kind of the same material, so it's like super lightweight. It's super, super cool and refreshing to wear, and it's somewhat like water resistant, waterproof. They dry really quickly. I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but probably because it's not cotton. That's probably what it is. It's like some type of polyester material, but they are the most comfortable shorts I've ever. Shorts and sweatpants, they're absolutely amazing. Highly recommended. Next up, base layers. So I am a firm believer of the Heat Tech line from Uniqlo. I'm right now wearing the Heat Tech level 3 so it's called the ultra warm layer because it's negative 30 degrees here in Toronto today. So I've been wearing it in the house because the house is actually pretty cold. So Uniqlo's Heat Tech, they have 3 different levels. It goes from regular to warm to ultra warm. You just need to think about what you need to wear depending on what environment you're going to. This is generally what I wear when it's like negative 20 and below. So next, my fleece layer. The fleece layer I have, if I'm wearing just a regular t-shirt, but I don't want to wear like these like ultra warm Heat Tech things, then I'll put on a fleece layer underneath my Patagonia jacket. They are all super warm, so they're actually really, really good. I can't recommend them enough. They're really, really nice. My spring, fall, summer boots that I usually wear is the Red Wing Iron Rangers. This is like old school Americana style like boots, and they are like they last forever. I've had one pair for like 10 years, and then they died. Like I've made a hole in them, and I bought another pair, and it is just one of the staples I have always in my wardrobe because they're so good. Next up, for my backcountry trail running shoes, I use the Nike Wild Horse 5 shoes. I got them for like $30 at a Nike factory store, and they're like absolutely amazing for just going out into the bush and not having to worry about getting scratched on the bottom of your foot or anything, because they're like high top versions of their trail running shoes. So if you're into that, then I highly recommend it. You can also get the Brooks Cascadia, I think it's called Cascadia Trail. They're also really good as well. For my trail running shoes that I actually use for running on trails, I use the Nike Pegasus 35, no, Nike Pegasus Trail 2, which is based off the Pegasus 35s. They're perfect. They work really, really well, and they're like really like spiked on the bottom. So highly recommend it. I've ran in them for a couple miles and a couple 100 miles, and they're really, really good. As for regular like city running shoes, I use the Pegasus 35s. They are also really good. They don't have the spikes at the bottom, so they work really well in this on the city on pavement. And what else we have? And for just everyday, and just for like everyday walking around the city for the summertime, I also wear Allbirds. It's the Allbirds Tree Runners, which is super, super, super comfortable. They've also flat pack for travel, so I can put them in anywhere and just put them at the bottom of everything, and they're just completely flat. So it's really good for travel. I also wear the Allbirds when I'm like driving. I find that, you know, when you're driving, you should be really, really comfortable. So if I'm going to be in van life or I'm like doing a big road trip, and I always take off whatever I'm wearing and I put on my Allbirds. Raincoat. So photography, I like to have things that pop in the environment they have. So I have this HERSCHEL raincoat that's in a desert rose kind of color. I forget what the actual name of the color that was called, but it's like a nice sandy orangey color. So if I'm like in a super wet environment, super gray outside, the sandy orangey color is gonna pop in that environment. It's HERSCHEL. HERSCHEL's products are really good, so I can highly recommend it, although I think raincoats are kind of raincoats, so it doesn't really matter where you get a raincoat from. Okay, so the last 3 items on this list, it all has to do with winter stuff. So right now what I'm using for my parka is the Uniqlo Ultra Warm Hybrid Coat, which really, when I'm thinking about it, it's not really that warm. I usually have to layer underneath it in order to stay warm in under negative 15 degree weather. I might replace it soon. Might even replace this right before my trip, because right now it's negative 40 in Banff or Alberta. So you'll see it in the next week video if I have replaced it, and or I might have to just layer up before we go to Banff. But that's where my thought is right now. It is the coat I've been using for the last 3 years, and I think it's time for an upgrade. As for my winter boots, the winter boots I use right now is the Blundstone Winterized boot. I don't remember what number it is, but there is a winterized version that has sheep's wool at the bottom, and it's really, really warm. The Blundstones are more or less waterproof, so like you're super dry, it's super warm, and it's like perfect for Canadian winter. You can either use this or you can use the Red Wing boots. Red Wing boots are made out of real like rough and tough leather, so it's not exactly waterproof. So I have a tendency to lean towards the Blundstone as opposed to the Red Wings in the wintertime. Finally, the last thing is I like Banana Republic's coats, of all things. I find that they're very stylish and they fit my body pretty well. So I have this top coat that's in a camel color that I use for like formal occasions. And you know, just having a variety of items to use in situations. So if I'm going to London or if I'm going to like any type of city and it's not like negative 30 degrees, then I'll fashion to go use my top coat as opposed to a parka. So it's just being situational and understanding where you're going and what you're going to be doing in that location, and deciding what items to bring for that mission is really what travel's all about, right? Yeah, that is what we have for today. This is the tech video for the year. Hopefully I'll see you guys again next year when we do this list all over again, see what changed, see what I've lost, what I've gained. But until next time, we'll see you guys in Banff. That's the next video, I think. Unless there's a video in between. But at some point, we're going to Banff. So I guess until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye. So, are you sleeping? She's sleeping. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.